Welcome to this session of Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. My name is Arifa Baksh, and I'm a third-year student at Hunter College, majoring in computer science. Today, I'm delighted to be having a discussion about tech and tech careers with Ilaria Aiello. Before we begin, I would like to give some background on Talking Tech. Talking Tech is a series celebrating girls and women in tech being recorded around the world between Girls in ICT Day 2020 and Girls in ICT Day 2021. Girls in ICT Day is an international day marked on the fourth Thursday of each April. In 2020, Girls in ICT Day was April 23rd. The objectives of Girls in ICT Day are to help to create a global environment that empowers and encourages girls and young women to consider studies and careers in the growing field of information and communication technologies. The Talking Tech series is brought to you by the ITU, UNICC, and is in support of the Global Partnership for Gender Equality in the Digital Age. The goals of the series include to offer diverse examples of how ICT is being used to support achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and other UN goals, and to showcase initiatives that are working with girls to support them in ICT studies or future ICT careers. I'm particularly passionate about promoting women in technology, and I think it's important to have women established in the field share their journeys. With that, I would like to introduce Ilaria Aiello. She is a training assistant at ICC in the Learning Services Group. Hello.
Hi, Arifa. Hi, Arifa, Hi. And thank you for inviting me on this initiative.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today, Ilaria, and taking time out to talk to us. So my first question is, when and how were you motivated to enter the tech field?
Well, my studies have always been oriented towards humanities and foreign languages more than focused on ICT. However, I've always known how important IT skills are in the cultural baggage of a professional, reason why I thought remaining always within the field of my beloved foreign languages and cultures, I decided to choose a curriculum in my university degree that could have a more technical shape, let's say. So during my studies on technical translations, I became more and more expert on the CAT tools, which is the software that helps professional translators in their job. And I really understood that IT would have been part of my future career during a university project for the localization of our website from French into Italian.
I really like how you were able to combine your passion of foreign languages with technology. And I think your answer really speaks to the endless possibilities that the tech field has to offer. So my next question is, what are some things that you find particularly rewarding about having a career in tech?
Nowadays, technology is an integral part of our daily life for whatever field of our lives. So having a career in tech means being part of the enormous wheel which runs behind the scenes, let's say. And working in tech means that you know that with your daily job, even with the smaller tasks you have, you are contributing to make the word machine working properly, let's say.
I agree that technology is expanding its reach to more and more aspects of our lives. And I think your view of contributing to a world machine paints a really good picture of what working in tech is like. And now I'm interested in what major challenges you encountered on your journey in your career and how were you able to resolve them?
Well, again, I'm not a technology expert, and when I was hired for my current job, only basic skills in IT were required. So when I arrived at ICC, at the beginning, I felt a bit scared of being surrounded of people who literally spoke a different language, the ICT language. And this is funny considering that I studied foreign languages for my entire life. However, learning is always the solution. And I'm not saying that just because I work on learning services. So to overcome this challenge, I started studying. Of course, I'm still not a developer or a system administrator or network engineer, so I'm not an expert, But I read and I'm reading a lot. I watched many videos on the basics of different technologies and systems, which my colleagues work on. So I started understanding what they were talking about.
That's really motivating to hear because I think a lot of people that enter the tech field are overwhelmed by how much there is to learn. But you found your footing, and I really admire you for that. So for my next question, can you tell me what's an important lesson you've learned in your career?
Well, to reconnect also to the previous answer, for sure I learned that learning not only is the food of our mind, but above all, learning fosters inclusion because it can help you identify yourself and also gain self-confidence. So this is something that I learned so far, but it's never totally accomplished. So I'm still working on it.
I understand. Thank you for sharing that. And now I'd like to turn our attention to some of your projects. Could you please highlight some of the projects you and your team have worked on and how they achieve the goals of UNICC and other UN agencies?
Yes, well, since when I started working in ICC in 2017, my team's activities have changed a lot. They've been evolving as much as technology is evolving. So we usually try to follow the direction of the ICT progress and the development of new technologies. There are many projects we have worked on so far, but I'm particularly proud of the support we gave to the migration to Office 365, both internally within ICC, so for our staff, and also to other UN partner agencies, because Office 365 is now the important step that almost all organizations are taking, and the communication and learning support are crucially important for successful migration, because of course all staff must be aware of what is taking place in their organization and how also to take advantage of the new available functionalities they have.
I see. That was a very large project, so I understand why you would say communication is important to its success. On a similar note, you've explained before that you have extensive experience with foreign languages and communication, how these skills helped you in your role as a training assistant.
Well, my knowledge about languages, my passion about different culture, as well as my previous experiences in tourism and other experiences I had abroad, helped me a lot develop a certain attitude towards working with other people in a multicultural and multi-ethnic environments. And I think this is very important when you are constantly in contact, both remotely and in direct contact with people from all over the world, like people from the field missions.
Thank you for sharing all that you have so far. I just have one last question. Since the series about girls and women in technology, do you have any career or tech advice for girls and younger women in tech?
Yes, well, my main advice is to never give up, even when you girls and women see it impossible to achieve, even when you feel scared of being maybe the only woman surrounded by, because unfortunately this still happens very frequently in many work contexts, and ICT is one of them. So you must always think and repeat to yourself, I can do it. This is what I do, what I did in the past, and what I'm still doing. So above all, if you are following your dream, if you are doing what you really like to do, you must never stop trying, and you will do it for sure.
I really love your answer, and it resonates with me because I shared some of those initial fears when I started out in computer science, and I really do believe that you should never give up on yourself, and you should keep pushing no matter what obstacles you encounter. So thank you for sharing, and I understand that you have some questions of your own
Yes,
for
sure.
me.
This is now my turn to discover something more about you. So my first question is, when and how were you introduced to computer science for the first time?
So I was first introduced to computer science in a robotics class in high school. And in the class, we used computer-aided design software to create 3D objects and prepare them for printing. And I really enjoyed the class because it was my first time working with that type of software and a 3D printer. So I thought it was really interesting. And my original college plans at the time were to enter the medical field. But after taking that robotics class, I started to become more interested in technology and was considering how to make a career out of it. So I began doing some research on computer science. And during my initial exploration, I was amazed by how many paths I could take. But what really drew me in was coding. Like you, I really enjoy learning about foreign languages and cultures. So right away, I knew I would enjoy studying computer science because it combined my passion for language learning and my newfound interest in
Well,
technology.
that's very interesting. So what is nowadays your relationship with tech, and what do you like most about it?
The tech field is constantly changing and expanding, as I'm sure you know. So I'm always learning, and that's what I like most about technology, that there's always room for exploration and improvement. I mentioned this before, but I also appreciate that there are so many paths in tech that you can take. If you have passions that lie outside of technology, it's very likely that you can find some way to combine it with technology and make a career out of it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. So, have you already done any other experience so far in addition to school and university studies related to computer science?
Yes, so I completed a winter internship with UNICC earlier this year. And during my time there, I got the chance to learn about some of UNICC's many IT projects. And I got to chat with a few of the teams in charge of those projects. Um, I also spent some time at ITU helping to create potential events to promote technology. And outside of university work, I attend hackathons to learn more about subfields of computer science. For example, I went to one hackathon and it was about data science. So we were working with large amounts of data and trying to organize them and create a narrative from data. So I really encourage people that are interested in technology and computer science to attend hackathons. I also try to keep myself updated on new advances in tech. I'm interested in cybersecurity, so I read a lot of articles and blogs that talk about these topics.
Well, really well done, Arifa. Despite your young age, you have done a lot. So, talking about the future, do you have any future that you are particularly excited about?
Yes, I do. This fall, I'll be starting research on virtual reality, and I've always been interested in VR ever since I saw it first in action in video games. But I also know that virtual reality has been used in trainings, for example, police trainings, are one type that I know of. And I think that virtual reality is becoming an even bigger thing because of social distancing. So it's even more important that that research be done in this field. So in the fall, one of the things I'll be looking at is how virtual reality can assist physical therapy patients and help physical therapists do their job.
Good, thank you for sharing these. So my last question is, do you have any messages for other young women in tech, or maybe companies or academic organizations related to tech that you would like to share?
Yes, of course. My message would be to network. It's so important to find people that can give you advice and share their journeys in the tech field. Like I said before, there are several advantages to being in the tech field because there's so many career paths that you can take. But sometimes that that same flexibility can be a little bit difficult, and you might find it a little hard to navigate and find your place in tech. This is where having a mentor becomes extremely helpful. And one of the organizations that helped me with networking is Breakthrough Tech New York, formerly known as Whitney. And one of the main goals of this organization is to close the gender gap in technology. It was through this organization that I was able to intern at UNICC. So I would really encourage women that are considering a career in tech to seek out organizations like Breakthrough Tech. And one last thing I would say that my message would be, it kind of relates to yours, would be to never give up. When you find yourself doubting yourself, you should know that you can always do better, and you should always find ways to promote yourself.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and your experience, Arifa.
Thank you. Thank you for having those questions for me. And I also would like to thank you for taking time out today to speak with us. Everything you said was really inspiring and very insightful.
Really, thanks to you. It was a pleasure.
So that wraps up our session today for Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. Thank you again, Ilaria, for taking the time out to talk to us, and I really enjoyed our chat today. Thank you, and thank you so much for our viewers for watching. Bye.